Satrajit. And there was some misunderstanding between King Satrajit and Yadu dynasty about the Shamantaka Jwal, but I think it was resolved when King Satrajit gave his daughter Satyabhama along with the Shamantaka Jwal, and also the Jambuwan. He also gave his daughter Jambavati. And these two marriages happened before Pradyumna was born. And also it says that Satyajit, whenever people know him because he was the king, but when he used to wear the Samantaka jewel, everybody will amazed by the effulgence of this jewel, and they consider that this is the sun god has came, because normally those demigod used to visit Dwarka to see Krishna. So people used to get little bewildered that they assume Satrajit as the sun god. It says, although King Satrajit was known to everyone, he could not be recognized because of the dazzling effulgence of the Samantaka jewel. That's where we left. So we will continue. Once mistaking him to be the sun god, some of the important citizens of the Dwarka immediately went to Krishna to inform him that the sun god has arrived to see him. At that time, Krishna was playing chess, and one of the important residents of Dwarka spoke thus, "My dear Lord Narayan, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In your plenary portion of Narayana Vishnu, you have 4 hands with different symbols, the conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower. You are actually the owner of everything, but in spite of your being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, you have descended in Vrindavan to act as the child of Yasodamata, who sometimes used to tie you up with her ropes, and you are celebrated, therefore, by the name Damodar. That Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, as accepted by the citizens of Dwarka, was later on confirmed by the great Mayavadi philosophical leader Shankaracharya. By accepting the Lord as impersonal, he did not reject the Lord's personal form. He meant that everything which has form in this material world is subjected to creation, maintenance, and annihilation. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, does not have a material form subjected to these limitations. In order to convince the less intelligent class of men who take Krishna to be an ordinary human being, Shankaracharya therefore said that God is impersonal. This impersonality means that he is not a person of this material condition. He is a transcendental personality without a material body. The citizens of Dwarka address Lord Krishna not only as Damodar, but also as Govinda, which indicate that Krishna is very affectionate to the cows and calf, And just to refer to their intimate connection with Krishna, they address him as Yadunandan. He is the son of Vasudeva, born in the Yadu dynasty. In this way, the citizen of Dwarka concluded that they were addressing Krishna as the supreme master of the whole universe. They addressed Krishna in many different ways, proud of being citizens of Dwarka who could see Krishna daily. When Satyajit was visiting the city of Dwarka, the citizens felt great pride to think that although Krishna was living in Dwarka like an ordinary human being, the demigods were coming to see him. Thus they informed Lord Krishna that the sun god, with his appealing bodily effulgence, was coming to see him. The citizens of Dwarka confirmed that the sun god's coming into Dwarka was not very wonderful, because people all over the universe who were searching after the Supreme Personality Godhead knew that he had appeared in the family of the Yadu dynasty and was living in Dwarka as one of the members of that family. Thus the citizens expressed their joy on this occasion. On hearing the statement of his citizens, the all-pervasive personality of Godhead Krishna simply smiled. Being pleased with the citizens of Dwarka, Krishna informed them that the person whom they described as the sun god was actually King Satyajit, who had come to visit Dwarka city to show his opulence in the form of a valuable jewel obtained from the sun god. So Satyajit, however, did not come to see Krishna. He was instead overwhelmed by the jewel of Shamantaka. He installed the jewel in a temple to be worshipped by Brahmana, and he engages for this purpose. This is an instance of a less intelligent person worshipping a material thing. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that less intelligent person, in order to get immediate result from the fruitive activities, worship the demigods who are created within this universe. The word materialistic means one concerned with gratification of the senses within this material world. Although Krishna later asked for this Shamantaka jewel, King Satyajit did not deliver it to him, but he installed the jewel for his purpose of worship. And who would not worship that jewel? The Shamantaka jewel was so powerful that it was daily producing a large quantity of gold. A quantity of gold is counted by a measurement called a bhar. According to Vedic formulas, one bhar is equal to 16 pounds of gold. One mound equals 82 pounds. The jewel was producing about 170 pounds of gold every single day. And beside that, it is learned from the Vedic literature that in whatever part of the world this jewel is worshipped, there is no possibility of female. Not only that, but wherever the jewel is present, there is no possibility of anything inauspicious, such as pestilence or disease. So Lord Krishna wanted to teach the world that the best of everything should be offered to the ruling chief of the country. King Ugrasena was the overlord of many dynasties and happened to be the grandfather of Krishna. And Krishna asked Satyajit to present the Samantaka jewel to King Ugrasena. Krishna pleaded that the base should be offered to the king, but Satyajit, being a worshipper of the demigods, had become too materialistic. And instead of accepting the request of Krishna, thought it wiser to worship the jewel in order to get the 170 pounds of gold every single day. Materialistic person who can achieve such huge quantities of gold every single day are not interested in Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, therefore, in order to show special favor, Krishna takes away great accumulations of materialistic wealth from a person and thus make him a great devotee. But Satyajit refused to abide by the order of Krishna and did not deliver the jewel to him. After this incident, Satyajit's younger brother, in order to display the opulence of the family, took the jewel, put it on his neck, and rode on the horseback into the forest, making a show of his material opulence. While the brother of Satyajit, who was known as Prasena, was moving here and there in the forest, a big lion attacked him, killing both him and the horse on which he was riding, and took away the jewel to his cave. The news was received by the gorilla king Jambavan, who then killed that lion in the cave and took away the jewel. And Jambavan had been a great devotee of the Lord since the time of Lord Ramchandra. So he did not take the valuable jewel as something he very much needed. He gave it to his young son to play with as a toy. So in the city, when Satyajit's younger brother Prasena did not return from the forest with the jewel, Satyajit became very upset. He did not know that his brother has been killed by a lion and that the lion had been killed by Jambavan. He was thinking instead that because Krishna wanted the jewel and it had not been delivered to him, Krishna might have therefore taken the jewel away from Prasena by force and killed him. This idea grew into a rumor which was being spread by Satyajit in every part of Dwarka. So the false rumor that Krishna had killed Prasena and had taken away the jewel was spread everywhere like wildfire. You know, the wrong thing spread very easily. The good news doesn't spread that fast. Haribol. Krishna did not like to be defamed in that way. And therefore, he decided that he would go to the forest and find the Samantaka jewel, taking with him some of the inhabitants of Dwarka. So along with important men of Dwarka, Krishna went to search out Prasena, the brother of Satyajit, and he found him dead, killed by the lion. At the same time, Krishna also finds the lion, which has been killed by Jambavan, who is generally called by the name Raksa. It was found that the lion had been killed by the hand of Raksa without the assistance of any weapon. Krishna and the citizen of Dwarka then found in the forest a great tunnel, said to be the path to Raksa's house. Krishna knew that the inhabitants of Dwarka would be afraid to enter the tunnel. Therefore, he asked them to remain outside. Krishna is a Antaryami, he knows every single thing. And he himself entered the dark tunnel alone to find Raksa, Jambavan. After entering the tunnel, Krishna saw that the very valuable jewel known as Shamantaka had been given to the son of Raksa as a toy. And in order to take the jewel from the child, he went there and stood before him. When the nurse who was taking care of Raksa's child saw Krishna standing before her, she was afraid, thinking the valuable Shamantaka jewel might be taken away by him. She began to cry loudly out of fear. So hearing the nurse crying, Jambavan appeared on the scene in a very angry mood. Jambavan was actually a great devotee of Lord Krishna, but because he was in an angry mood, he could not recognize his master. That's why we have to be extremely careful not to be angry at any time. We need to practice this principle. Even in an adverse situation, we should not become angry. So he thought him to be an ordinary man. This brings to mind the statement of the Bhagavad Gita in which the Lord advised Arjuna to get free from anger, greed and lust in order to rise up to the spiritual platform. Lust, anger and greed run parallel in the heart and check one's progress on the spiritual path. These are also explained as the 3 gates to the hell. Not recognizing his master, Jambavan first challenged him to fight. There was then a great fight between Krishna and Jambavan, in which they fought like 2 opposing vultures. Whenever there is an eatable corpse, the vultures fight heartily over the prey. Krishna and Jambavan first of all began fighting with weapons, then with stones, then with big trees, then hand to hand, until at last they were hitting one another with their fists, and the blows were like the striking of thunderbolts. Each was expecting victory over the other, but the fighting continued for days, both in daytime and at night, without stopping. In this way, the fighting continued for 28 days. Hari Bol. Although Jambavan was the strongest living entity of that time, practically all the joints of his bodily limbs became slackened and his strength reduced to practically nil after being constantly struck by the fist of Sri Krishna. Feeling very tired, with perspiration all over his body, Jambavan was astonished. Who was this opponent who was weakening him? Jambavan was quite aware of his own superhuman bodily strength But when he felt tired from being struck by Krishna, he could understand that Krishna was no one else but his worshipable Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This incident has a special significance for the devotees. In the beginning, Jambavan could not understand Krishna because his vision was obscured by material attachment. He was attached to his boy and to the greatly valuable Samantaka jewel, which he did not want to spare for Krishna. In fact, when Krishna came there, he became angry, thinking that he had come to take away the jewel. This is the material possessions. Although one is very strong in body, that cannot help him understand Krishna. In a sporting attitude, Krishna wanted to engage in a mock fight with his devotee. As we have experienced from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has all the propensity and instinct of a human being. Sometimes, in a sportive spirit, he wishes to fight to make a show of bodily strength. And when he so desires, he selects one of his suitable devotees to give him that pleasure. Krishna desired this pleasure of mock fighting with Jambavan. Although Jambavan was a devotee by nature, he was without knowledge of Krishna while giving service to the Lord by his bodily strength. But as soon as Krishna was pleased by the fighting, Jambavan immediately understood that his opponent was none other than the Supreme Lord himself. The conclusion is that he could understand Krishna by his service. Krishna is sometimes satisfied by fighting also. So Jambavan therefore said to the Lord, "My dear Lord, I can now understand who you are. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the source of everyone's strength, wealth, reputation, beauty, wisdom, and renunciation." This statement of Jambavan is confirmed by the Vedanta Sutra, wherein the Supreme Lord is declared to be the source of everything. Jambavan identified Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Lord Vishnu. "My dear Lord, you are the creator of the creators of the universal affairs." This statement is very instructive to the ordinary man who is amazed by the activities of a person with an exceptional brain. The ordinary man is surprised to see the inventions of a great scientist, but the statement of the Jambavan confirms that although a scientist may be a creator of many wonderful things, Krishna is the creator of the scientist. He is not only the creator of one scientist, but of millions and trillions all over the universe. And Jambavan said further that you are not only creator of the creator, but you are also creator of the material elements, which are manipulated by the so-called creators. Scientists utilize the physical element or laws of material nature and do something wonderful. But actually, such laws and elements are also the creation of Krishna. This is actual scientific understanding. Less intelligent men do not try to understand who created the brain of the scientists. They are simply satisfied by seeing the wonderful creation or inventions of the scientist. Jambavan also continued. The really prayer of Sankachuda was also very powerful. I really liked it. Jambavan continued, my dear Lord, the time factor which combines all the physical elements is also your representative. You are the supreme time factor in which all creation takes place, is maintained, and is finally annihilated. And not only the physical element and the time factors, but also the person who manipulates the ingredients and advantages of creation are part and parcel of you. The living entity is not therefore an independent creator. By studying all factors in the right perspective, one can say that you are the supreme controller and Lord of everything. My dear Lord, I can therefore understand that you are the same Supreme Personality Godhead whom I worship as Lord Ramachandra. My Lord Ramchandra wanted to construct a bridge over the ocean, and I saw personally how the ocean became agitated simply by my Lord's glancing over it. And when the whole ocean became agitated, the living entity like the whales, alligators, and Timingla fish all become perturbed. Timingla fish in the ocean can swallow big aquatics like whales in one gulp. In this way, the ocean was forced to give away and allowed Lord Ramchandra to cross to the island known as Lanka, now supposed to be Ceylon. These constructions of a bridge over the ocean from Cape Comorin to Ceylon is still well known to everyone. After the construction of the bridge, a fire was set all over the kingdom of Ravana. During the fighting with Ravana, each and every part of Ravana's limb was slashed and cut into pieces by your sharp arrows. And his head fell to the face of the earth. Now I can understand that you are none other than my Lord Ramchandra. No one else has such immeasurable strength. No one else could defeat me in this way. So Lord Krishna becomes satisfied by the prayers and statement of the Jambavan, and to mitigate the pains of his body, he began to smear the lotus palm of his hand all over the body of the Jambavan. And Jambavan at once felt relieved from the fatigue of the great fight. Lord Krishna then addressed him as King Jambavan, because he and not the lion was actually the king of the forest. With his naked hand, without a weapon, Jambavan had killed the lion. Krishna informed Jambavan that he had come to him to ask for the Samantaka jewel, because since the Samantaka jewel had been stolen, his name had been defamed by the less intelligent. So Krishna plainly informed him that he had come there to ask him for the jewel in order to be free from this his defamation. And Jambavan understood the whole situation, and to satisfy the Lord, he not only immediately delivered the Samantaka jewel, but he also brought his daughter Jambavati, who was of marriageable age and presented her to Lord Shri Krishna. So this is a wonderful pastimes. We should be punctual. It's 6:54. So with the start, we should always dwell on those wonderful pastimes. When we read during the daytime, at least we should dwell one more time to get clear understanding. With those thoughts, I would like to offer my humble obeisances at the dusk of these wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who join every single day from Houston, from Fresno, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Aurora, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Boston, Boise, Atlanta, Phoenix, Tempe, Austin, College Station, San Jose, Portland, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago, Naperville, Philadelphia, Charlotte, Baltimore, Baton Rouge, Alaska, Orlando, Stanford, Jacksonville, St. Louis, San Diego, Loganville, Georgia, Maine, Ottawa, New Orleans, Toronto, Pondicherry, and New Delhi. Vanchakalpataruhasya kripa sindhu bhayavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So thank you very much for having your kind association on this most magnificent morning. And the devotees who, I think that everybody is off today. You don't have to go anywhere. So everyone should stick around to chant the holy name of Krishna, which is the ultimate goal of our life, to perfect chanting. So we can always remain beside Lord Shri Krishna. And as long as the Krishna is beside us, there is no sorrow, no anxiety, no suffering, nothing but the eternal happiness, despite living in this horrible material world. So let's pray to the holy name to grant us the mercy, so we can always absorb chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You know, all our acharyas has performed some austerities. And the austerities is the only way we can be able to attract the mind of Krishna. So always, I think, when the adverse situations comes, we should never forget that Lord Krishna is our most well-wisher person than anybody else in the creation. And we should never forget to get his association. No matter what it happen in our material day-to-day life, because this material world is created like that, ever changing. It won't be the time will come that you will be able to chant every single day at the same time. Obstacles will always come. But those obstacles are meant to be the steps known to get closer to Krishna. So I see some devotees, they are very, very strong, but sometimes they cannot maintain due to the different duties in this material world. But I think that I learned the lesson that if I see that this act will not help me to wake up on my time to meet with Krishna, I give up that. No matter how close Even to my, son-in-law and my daughter come to spend the time. When my time comes at 7:30, I tell them, my time to go to bed. Because at the end of the life, as I was saying earlier, brother and sister, lots of pain will be there. And we will cry out for Krishna's help. And believe me, we will feel so much. I don't know how to express that feeling. That what did I do in my life? I didn't give my heart to Krishna. And now I'm asking him to help me. And then who knows how many different pieces of life we may have to go through again to get this opportunity. And who knows that in the next life, even we have even the same situation, it may be worse than what we have. What are we going to do? Krishna is so kind. When I see the devotee's life, Krishna has made a perfect arrangement. If they sincerely desire, there is ample resources has been given by Krishna. Nobody dies without the food, even a small ant. Krishna always creates sufficient things to sustain our life. If we have a complete faith in the word of Krishna. But unfortunate is we don't have faith in his word, but we have all the faith in all other people's word, right? Haribo. So I think let's become determined if we are sincerely seeking to get out of this nuisance of this material world once and for all. We will suffer like anything. We are suffering every single day, and as the time goes by, suffering will keep on increasing, and we don't want to come back to have that suffering. Haribo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.